Hey, look everybody, it's Dexter. Dexter the cat. Look at him. There he is. Dexter's still somewhat of a kitten. Oh, there he is. What do you say, Dexter? What do you say to the people? Say something to the people, Dexter. Okay, he's going to get down on the keyboard now and try to shut this down. All right. The purpose... Oh. Cats always land on their feet, as you know. Okay, anyway, so the purpose of this is to give you an introduction to this so-called bonus discussion board question. And first of all, as I said in the note, this is purely optional. You don't have to contribute anything to this if you don't want to. You can just use this in lieu of 2 of your comment posts for one of the other topics. But as I said, you don't have to do anything on this. But this is something that I've been thinking about, and especially a couple of people mentioned some things. Kevin mentioned this in one of his postings, and it sort of got me to thinking about this idea more. And here's what the idea is. We know, or hopefully you know by this point, that the First Amendment, which I'm showing it on the screen right now, the First Amendment really only protects us from the government. So the First Amendment provides us freedom of speech, but it only does that as far as the government is concerned. So the First Amendment keeps government from unduly restricting your speech, but it doesn't keep anybody else from unduly restricting your speech. And the basic question that I'd like you to discuss here is, should it? So should we somehow, whether that means changing the First Amendment or just, passing laws or taking a different view of it to make it more sort of activist, to make it more, rather than just saying the government can't restrict your freedom of speech, actually saying, well, the government can actually step in and help you keep your freedom of speech. And the reason that sort of brought this to the forefront, and it was mentioned in a couple of the postings, is the Donald Sterling situation. And I'm sure you've all heard about it by now. He's the owner, soon to be former owner, I guess, of the Los Angeles Clippers, who said all this awful racist stuff to his girlfriend, I guess she is, over the phone. He was in his own house just talking on the phone. She or somebody recorded it and then put this tape out there. And he's obviously in all kinds of trouble right now. And again, I am not in any way condoning the things that he said or anything like that. However, it does bring up the question, should somebody be punished for something that they say that they think is private in their own home? Right now, Donald Sterling has no ability to use the First Amendment to help him in any way, because the First Amendment's really just protecting him from the government. Right now, the people that are after him, so to speak, are the league and other parts of the NBA. So then the question becomes, should there be a way that we use the First Amendment or something like it to actively protect your ability to speak? Because, and this is sort of related to access theory as well. And remember when we talked about access theory, I'm not sure everybody got it. I might not have explained it all that well. But access theory was this idea that, again, the First Amendment should be sort of activist. It should actually help you get a voice in the increasingly corporate-controlled media. So the example that I give is, I could put up a blog or something if I want to. I can write a letter to the newspaper, but beyond that, the average person really doesn't have any way of actually being heard in the media. And access theory was about, making sure that people could be heard. Making sure, for example, that radio stations ran a lot of local programming and allowed people to have their voices be heard and stuff like that. And so this idea that I'm spinning around here is kind of like that. It's the idea that maybe we should be using the First Amendment in more of an activist way. Another example would be you know, let's say you work at Walmart and you want to wear a pro-union button to your job at Walmart. You know, I can guarantee you that if you show up at Walmart or Sam's Club with any kind of pro-union anything, they're going to make you change it, fire you, send you home. Should that be the case? Aren't they restricting your freedom of speech? I think they are. But again, right now the First Amendment doesn't protect you any because, you know, it isn't the government that's after you in that case. It's a private entity, in that case Walmart. You know, one of the arguments against this would be, A, this would be pretty difficult to do. B, you know, you don't have to work at Walmart if you don't want to. You can go work somewhere else. I realize that these are arguments, and maybe these will be arguments that you will make. But I think it's an interesting idea. And, you know, we've seen over the past several years, you know, lots of people who have gotten in a lot of trouble, have lost jobs, have lost, you know, livelihoods, have sort of been scorned because of things they have said. And in nearly all of those cases, it was not the government that was doing the scorning or outcasting. It was basically private entities or, you know, pressure from advertisers or that sort of thing. So here's what I'd like you to think about, and if you wish to participate in this optional module, post your ideas about this. The central idea here is, should the First Amendment or something like it be made more activist in the sense that it would protect you not just from government restricting your speech, but from corporations or private individuals? Okay? So have at it. If you do make a post to this discussion board, let me know which of your other discussions you would like this to count for. So remember, making a post here is going to count as 2 of your response discussions in one of the modules. So what you would need to let me know at the end of your post is just say, okay, I'm doing this instead of making 2 responses to whichever module. All right? So hopefully have some fun with this, think about it, and we'll see what we come up with.